This week, our viewers are tasked at a target which may be one of the most important targets we've looked at since our foundation back in the crypto viewing days. This project may be directly tied to the whole reason this company was started. No pressure to the viewers, but it's a big one. I'm gonna do a quick check-in with the team, get their feelings on their targets, starting with Daz Smith. Daz, how you feeling about your work this week?
Oh, you can't say an intro like that and expect a response. I don't,
Pressure on.
let me have a quick look for it. I think I had some really negative stuff,
You
really
did.
negative financial stuff, really
Yeah, you did.
big, deep stuff.
Yes, you
Yeah,
did. Big stuff for sure.
sorry.
All right. We'll see how it plays out. Edward, thoughts and feelings?
I enjoyed the session. It seemed very complex to me. So there was just a lot of arms going out
Hmm.
and trying to keep up with them. Like juggling, 10 different things. But it was very complex thing to
Yeah.
review.
Yes, and that complexity you have corroboration in. I'll explain that later, but you're not the only one that picked up on that. You all did excellent on the session, by the way. Naim?
I see a very steep decline, a chart that drops almost vertical. So
Hmm.
something not so good.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And Dick?
I did a whiteboard session on this and I felt so strongly about it. I published the whiteboard session in public already. It's up on YouTube. None of us, Dennis knows what it is, but the remote viewers don't know. But I called it remote viewing without a net. Like the Walenda, I'm going to walk across because I I I had that much confidence in my session.
Wow. Did you
I,
call and
I I put it out, so we'll see.
did you call
But when
target in
you
that?
when you said the intro, like this, maybe I was like, oh no, don't do that to me. Oh no.
And Dick drew Sasquatch on his whiteboard
I
session, so you
did.
can go look at Sasquatch. It is not a Sasquatch target from what I saw of all your data and the analysis. And I haven't seen your whiteboard session, but the other data that was submitted for the analysis, you guys are spot on. So let's take that anxiety away right away.
Well,
Let's
we will see. We're still
yeah,
blind, so
you
here
are
we
still
go.
blind. So let's go through it. Daz, starting with you, why don't you walk us through your data?
Wow, that was an intense session.
Yeah, it's pretty grim at the end too, Dick, for sure. Great work though. A lot of corroboration, like you mentioned. I'm going to do the target reveal in just a moment. Marty, I'm just want to do a quick check-in with you before we reveal the target. How are you, buddy?
Doing good. You heard about my odyssey, I guess, my eye surgery twice.
Yeah. I didn't hear
Doing
about the
okay.
second one. I'm glad you're back, buddy.
Yeah, and they found some tears in the third one, the other eye, but not a
Oh my
big deal.
gosh.
I had a car wreck, but other than that, I'm doing good.
Besides that, you're doing great. You look good, Marty. So it's good to see you on the show tonight.
You too, Dennis. It's been a while. Yeah,
It has
thanks.
been.
Yeah.
Well, I'll certainly be feel free to chime in as we go through the reveal and then into the analysis. Your opinion and your input is definitely valuable here, and I'll certainly kick it over to you a few times too as we go through it.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Before I share my screen, usually I share the screen and say what the target is, but just I'm gonna not share my screen yet, so everybody's faces are more in full as we talk about this target, and then I'll go in and do the full reveal on this one. But I'm just gonna say it. This week, you guys were looking at the death of the euro.
No
Yeah,
wonder I had
The
London.
euro.
death of the euro, which could be very well linked to the death of the dollar. We had a lot of U.S. stuff in there, so I'll get into that in the analysis. But years ago, we sat in how many long conversations were we having about one day the dollar is going to fail, the euro is going to fail, we're going to transition over to this new digital economy, and I'm like, what the hell is a cryptocurrency? And now it seems like Edward and Dad specifically at timeline markers, it seems like we're pretty close for sure.
I had the House of Commons in there in
Yeah,
London.
yeah. You
No
guys really
loyalties.
had good data on this one. So let me go through the debrief and then I'll go through the analysis. As always, I think there are a few ways that this data can be interpreted. So for those of you watching, understand that my analysis is just, I think I'll go into like two ways of interpreting it, but there are other ways to interpret the data. And I certainly welcome anybody's feedback from the team and then from those of you that are watching as well.
In
But the bottom,
in
go ahead,
in
Dick,
my whiteboard session, I drew the logo.
of
I
the
did have the
euro.
logo. Yeah. Almost pretty real close.
Yeah.
Real close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So the death of the euro in Europe, the near future. Can everybody see my screen? We're good?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So your sub cues. Remote viewers are to describe the changing of the old way of using euro currency into the new central bank digital currency, digital euro. So what's actually happening? The rise of the digital euro. Digital euro development, the ECB, is in the preparation phase of launching a digital euro, a central bank digital currency designed to complement, not replace, cash and existing digital payment systems. This phase began in November 2023 and is expected to conclude in October 2025. So there you have it, friends. There's the analysis. There's the big targets. I welcome your feedback, Dick. I see you have something.
That was a
Yes.
pretty amazing bit of remote viewing work we did.
Yes. The division of effort and the corroboration is very strong on that one for sure. Let me check in with everybody. Daz, starting with you, just your reaction to this target.
Yeah, it's quite shocking to see all the data with the corroboration of such a big major decline of such a big thing. Worrying if it comes true, really, because I'm not sure it would just stop at the euro. If the
Yeah.
euro in all those countries crashes, I think it probably means that something bigger is in play. But
I think so too. And I do think Edwards' data was pointing to that. I think the US institutions are going to fail, which I think is going to be directly connected to this. I think that's what
yeah,
he was getting.
yeah. Of course, we were just tasked to look at the euro, but that doesn't mean
Right.
it could it could be the crash of the dollar that crashes the euro for all we know.
Right. I think that's significant. I don't
Yeah,
think that
yeah,
I don't think I don't want to speak for Edward, but having worked with him for these years, I don't think he's giving a metaphor of the US. I think he's picking up on something that's US based. Edward, I'll let you speak to
yeah.
it.
I had some US kind of flavor data in there
You
as
did.
well.
Hmm.
Yeah, I just don't think the euro is isolated enough to crash that bad on its own. But
I agree.
yeah,
Yeah. I think it's global for
yeah.
sure.
Scary when you think that all that war stuff and the drone stuff and everything's going on at the moment. It's like,
Yeah.
and then
And
we're
you
getting
guys are getting
crashed
digital
on.
IDs on top of all of that, which we've been
Yeah,
talking about for years here, how that's going to be a significant step to moving to this
mm,
with the CBDCs. So, yeah,
yeah.
we are
So
moving that way.
I have to be honest, worrying data from us really.
I agree. I
Well,
agree for sure.
Daz, it would not be good for the euro if Russia started lobbing cruise missiles into the city of London,
Yeah, yeah.
which was what my
Yeah.
data seemed to indicate. So
Scary.
Not good. Not good. Edward, let's get your thoughts here.
The imagery in there is pretty spot on. This is what it
Yeah.
was, and this is what it will be, and it's coming from here. I think the Federal Reserve will be involved
Hmm.
because their loyalties are to London,
Yes.
and they're going to be involved with that. And,
Hmm.
and that came through in the session, and then this is going to happen. Through the House of
Yeah.
Commons.
Hmm.
So that's what's going to happen. And in my opinion, as per the session, you can either buy them cheap now or you can buy them expensive later.
now, this is why remote viewers are so difficult to handle. We're such a finicky bunch. Edward Reardon does one of the best sessions in the history of remote viewing, and then goes, "I don't like the target queue."
I know.
It's like it's like an itch on
I
my back.
know.
I can't reach it. Arr!
I know. But you did great work. You all did great work on
We
this.
all did that. We did it. We hit this one pretty hard, and it's a bit it's concerning. I don't want Daz or any of our European friends to have to have any problems.
I'll be all right. You got to remember, we're not in the euro.
Oh, that's right.
Daz,
Mhm.
yeah,
We're-
and plus Daz has
Yeah.
Bitcoin. Daz
Yeah,
And yeah, they did the
we refused to go into it, so we're not in it.
British
That's
pound
right.
sterling, baby, and Bitcoin.
Yeah.
There you go. Daz
I'm
is
sure all currencies will be affected by this, not to rain
They'll
on everyone's
just switch it
parade,
up. It'll go from the
but
euro to the
Yeah,
digital
if
euro
all those
stable.
countries go, then everything's gonna go.
everyone's going to feel
Let's-
it for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Naeem, let's kick it over to you. How you feeling about this project?
Yeah, a lot of serious cooperation there on a bunch of
Mhm.
different points. Um, I mean, it definitely seems like something crashes in in relation to this. I think the whole, like what you showed in the debrief, how they passed a, law, or made some kind of statements to try and reassure people that the paper dollar, like the physical
Right.
dollar, is not going away. That is kind of worrying, because that,
Yeah.
yeah, that makes you think like, okay, they're just doing this to save face,
Right.
um,
Right.
for when it actually does happen. So
Hmm.
yeah, um, I mean, it's gonna go digital. Like there's no
Hmm.
stopping it. So at least hopefully from the sessions we get a little bit of insight into how that process unfolds.
And I'd like to, I'm going to try to take some time for an upcoming podcast and look at a comparative analysis between our Death of the Dollar sessions and this session here and see what kind of crossover we have. It's going to take me a little bit to put it together, but I think there'll be a lot of insights on that, see how these things are progressing. Dick, let's get your thoughts on this.
Interesting session. I thought we did really good. I want to hear what Marty thinks of it.
Yes, I'm looking forward to Marty's take on what he's seeing. Marty, great to have you here, buddy. What are you seeing with all of this?
Confusion. Actually, no. So give you an example. Let's take the dollar index. People look at the dollar index as the dollar, whether it's strong or weak. And as we've said many, many times, it's not the dollar. It's got nothing to do with the dollar. It's the dollar in relationship to other shit currencies. And it's the best looking girl at the dance, so to speak, right? So I'm looking at this not as nations fighting nations, but as an organized group of thieves that have a plan, and the way they work the plan is they pit everybody against everybody else. I think that's the way the world works. And just like, for example, the things they're doing, whether it's in the US or Canada, by bringing illegals in and causing disruption and causing hatred and causing turmoil and things like that, they have to get you to that point before you would consent to do what they want to do. And it's kind of like the old problem, reaction, solution. So when you get something like we talked about the death of the dollar, well, the dollar just recently, as we've watched, came down to 96 on a level that's normally around par, and it's found good support there. So I think the trick here is to remember that if the euro were to crash or have an issue, and by the way, I totally agree with Naim, it's bullshit. There's no way they're going to have a cash society with digital. That's total crap because it's completely contradictory. If they have cash, they got no control over that. So they're going to tell you that until you get into the systems like everything else, they'll slowly take it away. But if you take a situation like we talked about the euro being kind of a fudged situation in the beginning, sticking all these countries that got nothing in common together, and that does have a problem, it fails. In my opinion, that money is going to head towards the West. And that's where we're talking about lately. We've been looking at the stock market thinking, holy crap, this looks like it's going to go to the moon. It's got a powerful, powerful looking chart, even though people are saying it's long in the tooth and it's way overdue. Well, the chart's not really saying that. There would have to be something unforeseen that nobody sees coming, I think, and that's not the case. I think everything that we see is purposely put that way. We may not see it or we may think it's a surprise, but I think it's all in the plan. So if that were to happen in Europe, then that money would flow into the US, which in turn would push the US market higher. And the way these markets, I think, finally would succumb to gravity is only when it gets to the point that everybody, the non-believers, everybody just says, screw it, I'm getting in because it's just not stopping. Something like we're seeing right now in gold. So I see things being individually, like Europe will fall, the US dollar will fall at some point, gold and silver will fall, and the only thing left really will be this pure digital currency. But the thing is it pure? Is it going to be decentralized, or is it going to be something, again, controlled by some government? And if it is, that's where the malicious part comes in, where everything fails and you can't bring it back again. You
Yeah.
know what I
Well, we're
mean?
kind of going far afield
We're
off the
far
topic.
afield,
Thanks,
but the
Mike.
point we're getting at is they have to come up with a system that um, people can trust. I mean, really, like something that is foolproof and there's not too many middlemen in between. And that's why I think the whole concept of the cryptocurrency was brilliant in the beginning if it's decentralized peer-to-peer, but nobody's using it peer-to-peer, right? They're going through the exchanges, which are controlled. Anyway, that's enough.
Yeah. Marty, thank you for that. When I put this analysis together, I was like, I think I understand this target. And I listened to Marty. I'm like, man, I'm in over my head. You just have such a wealth of knowledge, and I appreciate the way that you break it down and really, point these things out. So thank you for taking the time to do that.
Well,
for
thank
us.
you. It's not that I know, it's just my feelings after and I could be 100% wrong, guys. I'm just saying what I see.
But you speak from experience, and that brings wisdom. Right or wrong, we're all wrong sometimes, but bringing that wisdom and experience is greatly appreciated. So thank you, really appreciate it. That's going to do it for this one, friends. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this one. This is one I think is worth watching a few times, revisit, take notes. Let us know what you think. Where are we going with this? Do you feel the timeline is accurate? Does it fit? And how are you? Are you prepared for this potential shift that we have been talking about since the beginning here? Is this the moment that we've been discussing for a very long time? I don't know. I think we might be pointing in that direction. So on behalf of Daz, Edward, Naim, Dick, Marty, and the rest of the Future Forecasting Group, I'm Dennis Nappy II. Thanks for watching.
Watch the full debrief at ffgrv.com.